guys, welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live. I am your host, the award-winning international Make Every Second Count speaker. Now, I am very excited about our guest tonight. She is here to add value to your life. I am here to add value to your life. And I ask you if you would please share this video out. Give us all kinds of thumbs up, hearts. Give us sad faces at times when you think it's warranted. Give us angry faces if you want. It doesn't matter. Just give us something and ask as many questions as you would like, and I will get them answered on the air. And if I can't get them answered on the air, I will make sure she gets them after. So I would like to introduce you to Barb.
Hey, Jeff. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. If you would like to go through a short introduction on yourself right now, I'll let you do that.
Okay. So my name's Barb Allen. I am an author, a speaker, a podcast host, and I'm also a Gold Star wife. And what that is, for those of you who are not in the military community, may not be familiar with this term, but a Gold Star wife is a wife whose husband was killed in active duty service. So my husband, Lieutenant Louis Allen, he was killed in Iraq in June 2005. I did not know what a Gold Star wife was until I became one. I think the name is a little weird personally, because Gold Star seems like an award you get or something, but it's quite the opposite. But yeah, a Gold Star wife is, or a Gold Star mom, or Gold Star sister, brother, whatever that relationship is for a family member of someone who has been killed in active duty. So in 2005, my husband Lou was in Iraq with the 42nd Infantry Division, and he was only on base for a few days. He was sitting in the office with his friend and the commanding officer, Captain Philip Esposito, when a Claymore mine was detonated outside the room they were in, and then some grenades were thrown. And my husband was injured, but conscious, but he did die a few hours later, and Phil Esposito died almost immediately. And it was determined that it was a homicide, and the staff sergeant of the unit was arrested for the murders. We went through a hellacious 3.5-year court-martial process. I went to Kuwait, I went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, dozens of times. And ultimately, we had to watch the trial fall apart. We compare it to the O.J. Simpson trial of the military's version, because in spite of even admitting and signing a guilty plea, the military dropped the ball on this case tremendously. The case fell apart, all sorts of things went wrong, and he was acquitted. So I was raising 4 boys. They were 6, 5, 3, and 1 when my husband was killed, and in a very, very bad place in my life for very many years.
Man, that is quite the story. I don't even know how to take that story, but I know that there are people out there that lose family members, and some are in the military, but some aren't. In fact, I lost my mom in 2016, and it just wasn't a great day. But I know it's hard. How exactly did you get over the emotions of losing your husband? And then how did you deal with the military courts messing it up?
Not very well is the answer to both of those. At the time, I was 32 years old when my husband was killed, and I was a very immature 32 years old, even though I was a mother. I had 4 little boys, and I was a wife, and I had a career, but I was still emotionally, I was just immature and very dependent on my husband for my self-esteem, my confidence, everything. He was my world. And so when he was killed, that was awful enough. And then to find out it was a murder, double that. And then for me, then it was even, there's a traumatic grief. And that was 3.5 years of traumatic grief on top of each other. We never got a reprieve. It was every time I was able to take a few breaths and start to feel like I was healing, I'd be back in court, or I would get another phone call, or I would have another meeting, and it would just rip everything open right again. And then, of course, the trial, being sitting there in the room with the person that killed your husband, completely remorseless person, and hearing all these terrible things. It was just ongoing trauma for several years. And then I had trauma in my personal life as well. So not well is the answer to that. I was, suicidal and depressed and all of those things. And so it probably took me about 10 years really to finally start the true healing process.
Wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. But, all right, I don't mean but.
No, that's okay.
Is there a tip that you could give someone else that is dealing with the loss of a family member, or a loss of someone in the military, or just a friend? How can other people deal with that sad fact of life?
One of the things I would put out there is that there is a tendency to just want to understand how to do it. And if you're someone who wants to study and learn and teach yourself, you may get into all these cycles of grief that you hear about. Everybody's very familiar with the cycles of grief. But if you take that too literally, you can actually feel like you're failing. like, okay, I went through this phase already, anger and denial. I went through all that already. You can think that, why am I feeling it again? You can feel like you're grieving wrong, right? Or like you're just behind. So I would say to just keep in mind that those cycles of grief are not set in stone, and they miss a few, because at least one extra cycle should be added on, or step of grief, and that should be repeat, because you're going to repeat those cycles. You're going to repeat those phases of grief throughout your entire life. They're never going to end. It is just a matter of how long one phase lasts and how long the other. They just keep repeating.
Yeah. Do you think that things repeating is a curse, or more of something to help you in the long run?
I think if you're not prepared for it, and you don't remain vigilant, it can be a curse. I think you just have to accept and understand the fact that, so look, for me, it is 14 years out, and no, it's longer than that. It's like 16 years out. See, and I'm very happy in my life, and or 15 years. I knew I could get the math right. Very happy in my life now. I am in love with an amazing man. I have 2 stepchildren. My kids are healthy. I'm doing well. I have a new career. I have friends, family. I feel peace. But there are days where the grief comes in, and the pain of just missing my children's father in particular gets to me. I will still get a phone call. I'll still get an email from somebody from all those years ago who wants to tell me something new, and pulled back into the process. So I'll see my son's face as they get older, and they look just like my husband, and I'm reminded of what he's missing. And, so there are just different triggers that will come, and the pain will come right back, or the sadness will come right back, even though I'm happy. I'm happier and healthier and stronger now than I've been in my life, I think. So just let it happen. Like, don't, there's nothing wrong when that happens. It doesn't diminish the love you have for anybody else. It doesn't diminish where you are in life. It's a natural part of life. And if you're not prepared for that and you don't understand that, it's going to mess you up. So just let it happen. Embrace it. Let it run through you. Take a few deep breaths, and know you're going to come back out of it again.
All right, that is great advice, and I hope you guys out there are taking some notes because I know that this will be able to help someone out there. Now, I read on your personal page on Facebook that you're a veterans advocate. What can you explain a little bit more about that, please?
Yeah, I should probably update that because I did step away from that particular job some time ago. But I did spend some years doing. No, that's good. I'm glad you asked because it's an important field. I did spend about 3.5 years working as a professional veterans advocate for my county as a veteran services officer. There are anybody who serves in the military, they become eligible for some benefits. So, and some of those are based upon your service or based upon an injury or an illness that was incurred or happened while you were in active duty. So if you don't know how to file for those benefits, you're going to need some help. And it's a good idea to go to your county and speak with a veteran services officer. So that's what I had the privilege of doing for a few years, is helping our veterans and their families access those benefits.
Well, thank you for doing that because these heroes out there that are protecting this country need all the assistance they can get, and I love it when people support them in their endeavors. So I would like to take a second here and say hi to Mr. Darner. He was my 7th grade homeroom teacher. And then Lindsay Berlin says, "Hey buddy," and "Hi Lindsay, I love you." I dropped that. Uh, I'd like to say hi to Adam, to Stephen, to Nicole. She says, "Hi Jeff, hi Barb." And then I also want to say, oh, that was Nicole again. So, but that's pretty awesome that you're watching, Nicole. I hope you're enjoying this episode. Make every second count live. Now, what are you doing now, Barb?
So all that, I'm doing a lot now. Professionally, especially, I have a company with my fiance. It's called American Snippets. Part of it's an apparel line. This is one of our shirts. But we have it's patriotic platform, and primarily right now our platform is our podcast called American Snippets, where we've interviewed over 160 people now across the country who just do inspirational, meaningful things with their lives, and we share the lessons, personal and professional lessons that they have to offer. Yes, they have to offer others throughout the country, with the focus being just reminding everybody to take a break from the divisiveness and the hate and the anger that's going out there, and tap back into the things we have in common as people. So we have a very large patriotic theme. We interview a lot of military members and law enforcement, first responders, that kind of thing. But we interview Americans from all walks of life who just love our country and want to give back to it. We have a live event planned for next year. We have our own community we just launched, the Great American Syndicate, which focuses on strengthening our country by strengthening our communities, our families, and ourselves. So we're offering a lot of resources there. And patriotism is the underlying theme throughout all of it. It's important to me.
Yeah, I understand that. And I actually see the American flag there in the background on your left side, maybe?
It's there. It's always there.
Yeah, that's cool though. So I was gonna ask something, but I can't figure it out now. But
so it's not
right.
easy to do. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, as I say, I get it. Not interviewing people is not as easy as it looks. I do it a lot, and it's draining, man. It's draining.
Yeah, but I thank you so much for coming on here to be a guest. I realize you're a busy woman and life gets in the way at times. And I thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here with me, my guests. Well, my viewers.
both. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And everybody out there, including you, Barb, I want to remind you that I am here every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I need you guys all out there, including you, Barb, to do me another favor. I need you to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when those seconds will run out on your one life. Hey, you guys have a great night. I'll talk to you later. Thank you again, Barb. I really appreciate it.